Hello and welcome to Guy Free Working on Me, a woman's journey to self-awareness. This is a great moment in your life, a moment where you have decided to stop taking care of everyone else and to just start to take care of yourself. Stick with me through these podcasts and we are going to take the best rides of our lives. Listen up. Guy Free Working on Me is not meant to be a permanent lifestyle. It is meant to be a time in your life where you stop basing your worth, your happiness, and your self-esteem on having a man at your side. This is going to be an all-out redeciding of who you are, who you want to be, and what you feel inside. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello and welcome. I'm Shauna Hoffman. Today I'm talking about mothers and daughters. Finally, I have promised this podcast for a few weeks now. I think the reason that I kept putting it off is that it's such a profound conversation. It's filled with so much emotion, joy, or pain for so many people. And where do I begin? This is a relationship that's different for each and every one of you. Whether you're listening today as a mom or as a daughter or as both, the story of moms and daughters weave a very colorful canvas. There are those of you who've had truly beautiful relationships with your mothers. There are those of you whose biggest sadness, heartache, and pain is from what should be a truly sacred bond. And there are those of you who are currently trying to navigate this journey every day with your own daughters, young, teen, and adult. This podcast is meant to be a journey to self-awareness. And there is no way that I can help you do that if you don't take a deep look at the relationship you had with your mother. There are models online that talk about the different kind of mother-daughter relationships, from best friends or sister relationships to cheerleaders or authoritarians. But the best way that I can help you today is to help you see that this relationship is one that deeply affected your idea of who you are. It is the relationship that helped you know what unconditional love is or isn't. It's the relationship that either empowered you or broke you down. It's a model for what a woman is and what a woman's role in society is. It's a model for what you deserve in life, what love means. Most importantly, it's what you were programmed about who you are and what you deserve in life. For today's podcast, I'm sharing with you the model that I teach in my book, Guy Free Working on Me. That was the book that started it all. I share a model called transactional analysis. That shows the different sides of our personality, the parent voices in our heads, the child voices in our heads, and the adult voice. All of these have been programmed into us by our parents and our caretakers. And balancing these voices and finding our own voice becomes our biggest lesson in life. Taking a look at our mothers and how they programmed us into the way we feel about ourselves, about others, and the world is one of the most important paths to self-awareness. There's a word called differentiation. In the simplest terms, it means how we differentiate our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors from those that are programmed into us, taught to us, or expected of us by our parents. To be truly healthy, we need to differentiate ourselves from them. We need to claim who we are as opposed to who they want us to be. We need to become, and here's that wonderful word, genuine to our own belief systems. You've all heard from me the idea that women are nurturers. In TA and in my book, it's called the nurturing parent voice. This is the one attribute, the one side of the personality that's ultimately feminine. It's also something that our children crave from their mothers. As a child, when your mother nurtures you, it sends a message that you are loved, that you are worthy, that you are safe. It's the cheerleader. The one that feeds your body, mind, and soul. It's the basis for all that we then feel about our worthiness. If our mother deprives us or is incapable of sharing this nurturing parent side, then we as children feel unworthy. We feel unsafe. We feel unlovable. And as you can imagine, this then transfers to every relationship in our lives. When we're with our friends, we wonder if they care about us. But here's the scary part. When we look for a partner or a mate, We look for one that treats us the way we are used to be treated. We find a weird level of comfort with someone who treats us as if we are unworthy. It feels like home. It's what our psyche is used to. So even though we don't think we want it, it calls to us. Now, there are overly nurturing mothers too. I mean, how can that be? Isn't it undying love that we all crave? Well, yes and no. When the nurturing parent goes overboard, it's when I say that mothering becomes smothering. It's the kind of mother that does everything for you so you never learn how to do it for yourself. It's the one who sees nothing wrong with you when you know that you are needing boundaries and discipline. It's the one that needs you to be with them all the time. They may be jealous of your friendships or your relationship with other members of your family or with a mate. They may overfeed you because they believe that nurturing you with food is a mother's job and it shows you that they love you. They have a hard time saying no to you. The beauty of working on our past relationships with our mothers is that it gives us the awareness to know that this is why we are drawn to this type of friend, boss, or partner. And with lots of work, we can heal it. For women, it's huge work to see if we are entering into every relationship only as the nurturer without allowing others to nurture us back. Did we learn that that's what women do? Do we take care of everyone else's needs before our own? This is the side that I always have women do a really strong self-check on. Do you think that self-care is selfish? I have brought this up so many times in this podcast. If we think our roles are only to nurture others, we will never learn to nurture ourselves. So that brings us to the other parent state, the critical parent state. This voice has so many wonderful sides to it, and it can also have so many hurtful or damaging sides to it. In my book, I describe it pretty thoroughly. So if you haven't read it yet, you may want to pick it up and look at the chapter on the critical parent voice. The beauty of the critical parent state is that it's the side of us that sets boundaries. It sets our morals, ethics, and values. Values are things like family means everything to us, or family means nothing. Education is important. Physical beauty is important. It's also the critical side of us that stops us from doing things we shouldn't do. Don't cheat, don't lie, don't steal. Or did we learn that cheating is okay? Did we learn that that's how we make it to the top? The critical parent side is the side that imbues boundaries through our values. And boundaries are what we need to keep unhealthy people out of our lives. When our mother teaches us that we are worthy of saying no to someone or walking away from an unhealthy relationship, then we have learned the most important lesson moving into our relationships as an adult. And coupled with our feelings of worthiness from her nurturing parent state, she teaches us that kind of human is hurtful. Stay away or run away. That awareness comes from one of the most important sides of the critical parent state. The ability to see our life, critique it for what fits and for what doesn't. If our mother has taught us good values, morals, ethics, and beliefs, then we can see when someone is going to hurt us. The red flag goes up. We see danger, danger, and we can decide the course of action to take. But here's the biggest challenge. When we have a mother who practices all of the unhealthy sides of critical parent, when she is the one that hurts us, then until we do the work on ourselves, we accept abuse from those people we think are supposed to love us. Let me say that again. When we have a mother who practices all of the unhealthy sides of critical parent, when she is the one that hurts us, then until we do the work on ourselves, we accept abuse from those people we think are supposed to love us. Okay, what are those unhealthy traits? Judgment, harsh criticism, name-calling, control, anger, abusiveness. When we have this kind of mother in our lives, then our own barometer of our worthiness, our beauty, our ability to feel love is destroyed. We take their abusive words and we use it on ourselves. And we find people in our lives that will treat us the same way. They will criticize us and abuse us. Or when we have loving people in our lives, we don't believe they truly love us because we don't believe we are lovable. The biggest work that I have to do with my clients who've been brought up with this kind of mother is getting those voices out of their minds. Yes, you are lovable, beautiful, kind, worthy, and you are needed in this world. Now here's an interesting thought. Some of the work as an adult looking back is to see that what you thought was abusive as a child may not have been. You have to do your homework before you go out, even if it takes you all night. Well, that seemed horrible as a kid, but now you see that it taught you the boundaries and work ethic that you need to succeed. Taking a look at the critical side to see what was actually good for us is part of healing the past. So that also means being able to see that some of what you thought was good for you was actually a way of controlling you to the extent that it was abuse. Do your homework, because if you don't get good grades, you're going to be a failure in life. Do your homework, because if you don't get good grades, you're going to be a failure in life. When does criticism become toxic? When does control become abuse? We need to look at this fine line closely, not only as we reflect back on our childhood, but as a mother, how are we treating our own children? You can see how this sets up for the kind of partner and friends we choose. Are you choosing people in your life who emulate the relationships you have with your own mother? What voices are in your own head that are deciding how worthy or lovable you are? If she was nurturing and loving, complimentary, and set good boundaries for you, are you choosing like-minded friends and lovers? If she was abusive, are you abusing yourself? So the work begins. We have to rid ourselves of the negative, cruel thoughts and reprogram the truth. You are so lovable, so beautiful, so strong, so worthy. Do you understand that you have to work out your own programming in order to be the best mother that you can be? If not, we just perpetuate our own wounds onto our children. Okay, the examples I'm sharing with you are the extremes. In truth, we jump all over the place between nurturing and critical parents. We need to. And we jump all over in our own minds between nurturing ourselves and being critical of ourselves. The goal is healthy balance. Healthy nurturing thoughts, healthy critical thoughts. There are a few other states that I'll touch on that make up the kind of parent we are and the kind of parent we had. And these have a huge impact on our experiences in our childhood and what we teach our children and the way we live our lives today. The first is the rebellious creative child. This one is the playful, spontaneous, creative spirit. It's the one that plays with you, empowers your creativity. Maybe they make breakfast for dinner or they let you have dessert before the meal once in a while to just have a little fun. But it's also the side of a mother that becomes selfish, unreliable, does drugs, or walks out on her family. It's the me state. It's the mother that cares more about herself than her children. The beauty of this state is that when it's healthy, it can enthuse your spirit with creativity and the ability to play and be spontaneous. But the damage that's done when it is unhealthy is heartbreaking. When you are brought up with a parent that is so filled with their own me state, they teach you that once again, your voice doesn't matter and you don't matter. The other child state is the adaptive child. This one I call the no voice state. It's the state that's truly opposite of the rebellious child state. It's the one that puts everyone's needs before their own. It's the side that doesn't speak up because they feel they have no right to speak up. The beautiful side of this state is that it's the one that can say, I'm sorry. It can be versatile and flexible because this voice in our heads can roll with the tides. It's adaptive to change. Many women, mothers, and daughters end up silencing their voice They give in to the world and feel that they should not speak up. It goes hand in hand with the nurturing state. And it's a state that so many women take willingly and unwillingly, knowingly and unknowingly. There's nothing that gives me more pleasure than helping women find their voice. So, what did your mother teach you? Are you allowed to have an opinion? Did your mother only play with you and not discipline you? Did she never play with you and show you how fabulous and fun life can be? Was she so strict that you couldn't have your own creative side? Did she teach you to take the back seat to everyone else's needs, or did she teach you how worthy you are of happiness? Now that word again, differentiation. It usually starts when you're a teenager. It's why every teenager has to fight back. It's the job of every daughter to stand up to their mother and claim their own voice. It's every female's job to find their own voice, their own morals, ethics, and values, their own belief system, their own dreams and desires, their own path in life. This is when the adaptive child voice in our head quiets and the rebellious child screams. It's one of the hardest times between mothers and daughters. It's the time when daughters have to find their own truth. And sometimes in order to do that, they become everything rebellious. They become self-absorbed. They become seemingly uncaring. They break every rule in order to create their own rules. They may push you away in order to hear their own voice over your voice. It's normal. It can be painful, but if you understand it, demand respect through it, but still honor them finding their own voice without you trying to squelch it, then when they come back, you have a woman before you. A woman with a voice. A woman who is self-assured and knows who she is instead of who you want her to be. I have teenagers that do this, and I have adult women that are finally standing up to their mothers, claiming their own voice in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and older. It's then when you and your daughter or you and your mother see each other for who you are that the healthiest of relationships begins. Look back on your own childhood. Did you ever do this? Is there still a part of you that needs to shut down your mother's voice in your head? Is there a part of you that needs to claim your own voice for the first time in your life? There are so many of you who have had healthy relationships with your moms. So many of you who have gone through this journey and now see each other. And there are those of you who are still healing. Healing from an unhealthy mother. Healing from abuse or neglect that you experienced. For you, I offer to do the work. I want you to see how beautiful you are, how worthy you are, how lovable you are. We can't choose our birth mothers, and we can't choose our birth children, but we can choose our own truth. I truly believe that these two relationships are the biggest opportunities for self-awareness. And with self-awareness comes truth, and with truth comes healing, and with healing comes peace. Ladies, I wish for all of you truth, healing, and peace. Please be good to yourselves. Surround yourself with loving beings, eat nourishing foods, drink lots of water, dig deep within, and be willing to heal. Thank you for letting me into your life this week, and I look forward to popping back in again next week. Thank you for joining me today on the Guy Free Podcast. My hope is that you leave this podcast inspired, fired up, and ready to take that next step on the magical journey of self-awareness. And then you come back and join us again. Oh, and if you can do me a quick favor, please leave me a 5-star review over on iTunes. I gain so much from reading the reviews and getting feedback from my listeners. Each week, I'm going to choose one special person who's left me a review to win my book, Guy Free Working on Me. That was the book that started it all. Make sure you add your name to the review, and I'll reach out to you if you're the winner. Thanks again for spending your time with me today. Be sure to visit me on the Guy Free Working on Me Facebook page and on workingonme.com for past episodes and insight into the fabulous journey to you.